prices surged to record highs on Thursday, surpassing the peaks of the 2008 crisis.
So remember you had that crisis in 2008, right? But then what happened, man? It backed off. That's fulfilling that scripture. Let me get the scripture in Esdras, where it tells you that the victuals shall be so good cheap that they shall think they in good stead. Because you had that crisis, then it kind of receded. But this time it ain't gonna recede. It's not gonna go back, man. It's gonna go up, up, up.
Yeah, we just read, man. It's only gonna get worse from here, man.
Is it in 16? Oh. It says 2nd Ezra 16 and 21. On point. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So when you go back to 2008, you had that food crisis, then it went down. Now, the food crisis is back with a vengeance, man. And it ain't gonna go down this time, man. Right?
Yep. So the crisis that sparked food riots in more than 30 countries.
But when it happened in 2008, it sparked food riots in over 30 countries, man. Now it's at record, man. It's above that level now.
Yep.
And people have got even less disposable income than they did before in 2008. You see, what they did was they put off the crisis. All the crises, they put them off and pretending that they went away. Oh, we started going into a recession in 2008, but we come out of it. No, they never came out of it, man. Yeah. But now all the chickens are coming over to roost.
And all that was just manipulation of the market, man.
Yep.
That's all it was. They settled that fear for that little short period of time.
All that quantitative easing and shit.
Yeah. Wheat prices are not yet at record levels, but rallied more than 50% in 5 weeks.
Woo! 5 weeks, they've gone up by 50%. 5 weeks. Go on.
Exceeding prices reached in the wake of Russia's 2010 export ban.
Yep. Because Russia had that problem in that was 2010.
Yeah, when they had that bushfire in it, that fire that...
Right, was that 2010?
Right, that sounds like a long time ago now, doesn't it? I didn't think it was that far.
I swear that was last year or something.
It looked like it. But yeah, man, as soon as that fire hit Russia, man, they said, no, we're not going to export because we need it for ourselves.
But hold on, what about China? You see, look, if America ain't got their own brain, if anything happens, war or anything like that,
supply cut.
So, well, China's more than likely going to be one of their main enemies. Are you going to supply food to your fucking enemy?
Hell no.
Was Germany supplying goods to America, man? Line are going to get cut. That Panama Canal is going to get shut down. Ain't going to be no grain coming from the Panama Canal to your ass no more.
That's right, man.
Mexico's going to just totally collapse, man. That border's going to be like, trust me, man, logistically, food ain't going to be moving around in that day.
That's right.
And if you ain't got the food inside America itself, and if Britain ain't got the food inside Britain itself, what you going to do?
There's so long you can live for, man. And guarantee what is in this country, man, ain't gonna be.
It's gonna be confiscated,
ain't gonna
man.
be down here.
Well, whatever's in that store, whatever's gonna, because we're gonna get that scripture in a second. Whatever's in the stores in the time of the crisis,
that's it.
People are gonna rush there and buy it all, man. That's why the scripture tells you in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter and 22, it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, because that's going into these farms. They had all this corn. Then it died. In fact, you got certain, let's go deeper into the situation that's going on. You had certain places that because of the previous droughts, they killed all the grass. And then what happened was, I'm going into the cattle farmers, livestock. You had certain people that had livestock in America, and you had that previous drought that happened a couple years back that killed all the grass. Now the grass grew back, but it wasn't the type of grass that cattle eat. It was, the cattle if you know about sheep, because I know a little about sheep. Back in Montserrat, you'd have to go find a certain. You couldn't just chop any bush and go feed that to your sheep. They won't eat it.
Very picky.
They're exactly that. It's got to be palatable, a certain taste that they eat. There's a certain bush got a little silverback that we would cut, and then that's what you give to your sheep, and they'll eat that. Any grass, they're not gonna eat, man. They might not teach you that in schools, but that's the nature of livestock. You need certain grass and that to grow to feed your animals during winter. If you don't have enough harvest to give them the hay, because you harvest hay just like you harvest wheat, then you're not going to be able to feed your animals. That's what's been happening. So you got a lot of farmers, what they had to do was basically sell and put all their animals into butcher them. That's why the price of meat went down, because there was so much meat being butchered, the price went down. But that's totally depleted the flock, and flocks are hard to build up. So once all that meat gets consumed, then the price is going to shoot up. In fact, because of the water drought, now they've not actually got water to give the cattle. So you'd rather send your cattle to be slaughtered than to have them drop dead or thirst. What's that going to do? Drive down the price of the meat. But then when they're dead and all that meat's gone or rotten, where are you going to have them? Because your flock's gone. So it's all kind of levels coming into the situation that's going to contribute to the famine. It's going to be logistical, and it's going to be sourced too. And then Obama is going to confiscate the
big farmer.
He's going to come big agro, they call it. He's going to confiscate all of the food to fight that war, man. The government are going to confiscate all the food. He's already got the executive orders, and the same thing they're going to do here in the UK. They're going to confiscate all the food for the troops. It's going to be rationing again, just like they did in World War II. So there's going to be famine, man. There's going to be famine on all different kind of levels, man. Go on, bro. Read that article. I just had to put that in there, man. That it's not just the grain aspect. You also got the grass aspect too, to feed the livestock.
Yeah, everything's like a big circle, man. Everything's connected with each other, man. One thing that affects one thing will affect another thing, man. It's not linear, man. It's not just one thing, man, that it affects the whole ecosystem, man.
Because you'll have guys that say, oh, it doesn't matter if the crops fail in America. There's crops all over the world. But what if you can't? That's there.
You ain't there.
You ain't there, man. If you know?
The drought in the US, which supplies nearly half the world's exports of corn and much of its soybeans and wheat.
Sorry, read that again.
The drought in the US, which supplies nearly half the world's exports of corn.
Oh my lord. Half the world's export of corn comes from the United States, man. Half of that's gone now. Read on.
And much of its soybeans and wheat will reverberate well beyond its borders, affecting consumers from Egypt to China.
Even in China, man. Global crisis, global judgment, man. Go on.
I've been in the business more than 30 years.
Because China's more rice, isn't it?
Yeah.
China and India do more rice. And South America and Brazil and America that do more corn. Because different places are suited depending on the staple diet they had, because obviously the staple diet in China and that is rice. Same in India, they eat a lot of rice, you know? But in the Americas, their staple was maize. The Native American Indians used a lot of maize, man. Because you gotta have a certain type of weather and a certain type of you know, to grow rice, man. Because rice requires a whole heap of water, man. A whole heap of water. They grow on the water, basically, rice does. You know? Which, by the way, that whole system for growing rice in China was set up by Jake. Okay?
I've been in this business more than 30 years, and this is by far and away the most serious weather issue and supply and demand problem I have ever seen.
VIPs, they're probably rushing them VIPs to the place, man. Go on up.
This is by by far and away the most serious weather issue and supply and demand problem I have ever seen, by a mile, said a senior executive at Trading House. It's not even comparable to 2007 and 8.
It's not even comparable, man. This is the real deal. And people basically are in a worse economic position than they was in 2008.
Yep.
They got less disposable income, man. Now American families are worth less than Canadian families for the first time ever. People ain't got as much money to spend out there, man. And the price of everything is going up and their pay is stagnant or going down. Or they just ain't got no pay because they're losing their jobs. Serious business going on out here.
David Nelson, global strategist at Rabobank, added, today the US crop disaster is real.
The US crop disaster is real, man. Go on.
Whereas to some degree the big run-up in prices in 2008 was speculatively driven.
Driven by who? Wall Street.
Yep.
All speculation, man. But this is real supply and demand issue. It's not an issue of them gutter rats up there in Wall Street playing with the numbers. It's actually there just ain't no corn. So it's supply and demand. Meaning you got a certain amount of demand, you keep demand the same. If the supply goes up, the price goes down. If the supply goes down, the price goes up. Well, guess what? The demand is going up all the time, but the supply is what? Going down. And the price is going to go what? Up.
Joe Graziano de Silva, Director General.
And it don't help, sorry, even more, that plus that, the dollar's being devalued, man. So you're going to get even less for your dollar, man. That's even inflating the price too. Let's not forget the dollar being devalued. Because the dollar ain't worth shit. Read on.
I am certainly concerned about the recent rises in food commodity prices, even their potential implications, especially for the vulnerable and the poor, who spend as much as 75% of their income on food.
It's meaning they got less money to, okay, we're not going to go on holiday this year, we're going to use that money for food. No. They already use most of their money for food. They're just going to end up using more. So the money they would have used to pay the phone bill or the electric bill, some of that's going to have to come out of there to pay for the phone bill, for the food bill. But it's going to come to a point, no matter how much money you got, you're still not going to get no fucking food. Because it's just not going to be there.
In 2007-08, the rise in prices triggered food riots from Bangladesh to Haiti, as the number of hungry people in the world surpassed 1 billion. However, economists point out that the supply of rice, and to a lesser extent wheat, key staples for many of the world's poorest people, remain abundant, subduing prices. Joseph Glauber, chief economist at the US Department of Agriculture, also argued that the current situation was far better than 2008. Prices are higher, and there is no question about that, but we really had an extreme shortage of wheat in 2007-08, and I don't see that at this point.
Yeah, but you are going to have that, because guess what? When that World War III kicks off, all that's going to be cut. All that's going to be cut, man. Your supply lines, your supply chains are going to be cut. And the supply chains is everything in this global world. Because you might go into the store, you think them apples were grown in England, man? It's coming from Spain. You think that rice was grown in England? No, it's grown in China, man. What happens when them shipping lanes get clogged up with ships throwing bullets backward and forward, man? What are you gonna do then? You talking about the Strait of Hormuz, that's just oil. What about food? Which one of the most ancient ways to destroy your enemy in ancient times was siege. A big part of siege was what? Stopping the supply of food. Right? So, don't get it twisted, man. That famine is coming. That it or not?
It's still much more.
Is there anything in there you see you want to bring up?
Yeah, 1 second. Okay, this says further down the article, it says large numbers of people live very close to the edge, he said. failed
They
race.
had a documentary in England about that. More and more people, even in the middle class, even though they got middle class